So Harmony Korine's getting a divorce.
Hey, excuse me? From his hot-ass wife from Girls Gone Dead or whatever it's called. Spring Breakers.
Spring Breakers, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, allegedly so far, but also not allegedly because she put in her Instagram account, she's just like, oh yeah, post-divorce selfie or something like that. Ooh. She then deleted it, but she did start up a new Instagram account that's like her maiden name and just like photos of everybody like in her life except Harmony.
No.
Yeah, they were together for a long time. They've been together like 20 years.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought they met making that movie. Although that was a while ago now too. That's like 14 years ago or something.
Yeah, I think by the time Mr. Lonely came out, which was like 2005 or around then, I think they had just gotten married.
What do you think he did wrong? It's always
the man's fault. I think it was making dog shit movies. She wants to be the lady who goes to like premieres where people actually show up.
Where people respect what was done.
Yeah. And then Harmony's like, okay, babe, I'm making a movie where everybody looks like a baby. And it fucking sucks dick.
What if I told you I want to be the laughing stock of the entire world of art? Kind of. I mean, there's not good response to the AI. He's one of the first people who dived in the AI pool.
That's true.
Him and the Russo brothers.
Oh, man. And he's lost less money than the Russo brothers with their new stuff. So I guess that's, yeah.
He's better.
He is better, yes.
On balance, he's way better. But, you know, his, like, reputation. Well, actually, you know what? I was going to say his reputation, he might have, like, tarnished it himself. But I don't know what reputation he really has. So maybe, I mean, like, if she fell in love with him, it might have been that, like, it is, like, annoying probably to live with him. I'd imagine that living with him is not the same, but probably similar as being Kim Kardashian marrying Kanye West, where you're like, you want to be, like you were saying, you want to be at the premiere, glitz and glamour, the happy life at home behind closed doors, but also out in public, and you want everything to just be nice and for you to just have, like, a good image. And not that I think he's, like, an erratic, crazy person, but I imagine that he's probably kind of, like, it's very unpredictable day to day what you're going to get with him.
Yeah, from everything I can tell, again, I don't know what the divorce is over. She has said in the past that he's like, you know, a good father. And they have like photos together where it's like, apparently, you know, he does a good job raising the kids. But he does lead a very... if you want something that's like very concrete and stable, the stuff he doesn't really give you a lot to hope for.
Yeah.
In a sense, because his movies don't make a lot of money. He has his own production company that makes stuff to varying degrees of success. His past track record to some people kind of puts off people from working with him. I mean, I like his stuff, but I mean, there are certain things like, if you say, oh, this is the guy who wrote Kids, this is the guy who directed Gummo, some people are like, okay.
Have you seen that video of him in Florida with the guy, like, talking to his neighbor who's, like, met every celebrity or something like that? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's a Vice documentary about him.
I haven't seen the Vice documentary, no.
I watched it, and in the thing, it's like he talks about his day. They're just following him around. He's like, oh, I skateboard. I go and talk to my weird ass neighbor. I'll hang out with him for hours. But it's like, but you're like a father of a young daughter, and it's this thing where he seems to lead a very like single man life. Not that he's cheating, single man in terms of like that he wakes up, does what he wants to do all day, and if that involves being at home with the family, great, and if it doesn't, whatever.
Yeah.
So that also could be a thing of like, you know, like I think women really resent that when men are
have fun.
When having fun seems to come first to spending quality time. Like if you're a good husband in terms of how you actually, like if you're interacting in a kind manner, you care for the person, you provide, but you don't necessarily feel like you're the priority, you know? That can still be a big sticking point in relationships. Relationships of all kinds across every like age group. So, and the sense I get is that he is somebody who prioritizes his own experience, focused on your own, like kind of just sort of whimsical joy of doing what you want to do that day. That might be something that kind of puts a girl off because it's like, well, I'm at home with the kids and you're just having fun.
He has a very like bachelor mindset, and he's 50 years old.
And he looks it.
And he's still, and I don't mean this as like, you know, you have to like be serious about everything when you know, hit your halfway mark in life, but he's going out and just like smoking weed at like South by Southwest, talking about how much he loves net spend,
Right.
and like all these young artists. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like at a certain age, a lot of women, I mean, and he's already a father. He has multiple children with Rachel, his wife, but that might be just off-putting to her, where it's like you're still going around smoking weed, skateboarding, and like, you know, I'm at home with the kids or like doing stuff. And Harmony also is friends with like Jared Kushner. Do you remember this?
Yeah, you told me about this.
Yeah, there's like a photo I think Rachel took where it's just like him and Jared Kushner are just like chilling, just like reading the Torah together or something. So Donald Trump, if you hear this, give him more money so he doesn't make dog shit movies anymore. Use the national budget. Take away from the healthcare.
The shutdown won't end until he's making Kino again.
That's what it's about. Yeah, it's about Harmony funding.
Yeah, it's really weird to think of him hanging out with Jared Kushner because so I don't know anything about him outside of the stuff that everyone knows about, like his dad went to jail for like the blackmail thing and 666 Park Avenue or whatever the fucking property is. I know that kind of stuff because that's just like, I don't know. I guess it's exciting. It's like the most tabloid things about him. But he just looks like a really boring... He looks like a character Jesse Eisenberg would play in a movie. Mm-hmm. He just looks like a boring, anal nerd kind of guy. And I can't imagine being... imagine that if you're friends with him, you suck. But Harmony kind of seems like a chill guy.
He seems like a very decent guy.
Yeah. So it's like, is Jared secretly cool behind the scenes, or is Harmony secretly like just a Jewish pedophile? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, one kind of point of contention that people have about his marriage to Rachel is he met her when she was 17.
Whoa.
And he was, I think at that point, 30. There's quite an age gap. And I mean, it's one of those things where like 17, 18, it's like the reason people make 18 something is that it's already in the laws. It's really, I need to be careful how I say this. It's already a social construct.
It's forced on you.
Because if somebody said it was 20, everybody would be like, oh, well, 20 is, look, at the age now. It really is, somebody chose 18 for reasons. 17 is close to that, and it's like, it's murky water. I don't want to go super far into it, but that was a big point where everybody's like, Harmony's a pedophile.
Yeah.
It's not what a pedophile is, really.
There's no point in there's no standard point for any human where the switch flips and you're now mature.
Exactly.
It's a slow process. It takes some people 40 years, whatever.
If you see the dogs I have to match with on Hinge, some of these bros, not mature at all.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think meeting, the thing, there's a lot of, I don't know, pushback seems like a weird word to use, but I can't really think of a better one. There's a lot of people are very sensitive to the idea of grooming now. Like people are very quick to call people groomers, where it's like, this guy, like what you're mentioning, like he was 30, he met her when she was 17. And maybe this couple doesn't get together for years or whatever, but it's just like, if you've met somebody when there was that Romeo and Juliet law, like legal difference kind of thing, it's like, just like, oh, well, they're a groomer. If the man is the older one, it's a groomer now. And it's like, well, that happens, but that's not just every relationship. Like, I don't know under what context he met her, but I'd imagine she's an actress. Maybe she was modeling or acting in something. He knows actors and people. He's a film person. Like, you're just going to meet people. And also, like, you know, if she was 17 when she met him, that doesn't mean that they were flirting right away.
No.
It literally could be like, oh, hi. And then 5 years later, oh, you're that person, like Tarantino's wife that he met in Tel Aviv at that club one night.
Oh, yeah, that's
where she was so attracted to him that she danced with him for 6 hours.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I hope primarily in their relationship that the children are going to be good, you know, and okay, because I think they're not of age yet. And one thing, you know, honestly, the marriage might have just run its course. They were married like 20 years. 20 years is pretty long, you know, to stay married to somebody. And if half of marriages in the United States end in divorce, unfortunately, 20 is pretty good.
Is it? I feel like I saw something that debunked that number. Like, it's not 50% of marriages. It's like 50%. Wait, it's something. It's not necessarily that 50% of times that people get married and in divorce. I think it's like of the total number of marriages that happen, 50% of them.
But I kind of get what you're saying. Are you saying so it's not just like each individual marriage, but like each person?
Something. It's something where like the average, I could look this up if I was smart, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to go with it. It's not 50. It's actually 20. I don't know. It's something where that statistic is missing. It's like the college. I mean, this is a weird thing to pull out of the hat, but it's the only thing I can think of. It's like the thing about rapes on college campuses, where it's like 1 in 4 women will be raped in college. And it's like, no, that's just from one certain place. of times where somebody claimed they were sexually assaulted or just experienced unwanted touching. But then what that becomes is that means on average 1 in 4 women will be raped. That's not what it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I get what you're saying. There's like a telephone game of like actual facts where it's like this was true in this instance, but then it becomes so warped and people go, "Can you believe that?" Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I do get what you're saying. I mean, I do think the point still stands though. You're married for 20 years. It doesn't seem there's no like abuse allegations.
Exactly.
Like she's not doing like Harmony Dearest book coming out of just like this is everything he did. Yeah, it is kind of sad to see like one of my favorite directors and visual artists in general, just has a divorce.
So everyone knows about Hollywood divorce. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, outside of like being an A-list celebrity or whatever, okay, yeah, a lot of actors have been divorced. But there's a lot of divorce just in general in the lives of people who just do any kind of art or entertainment. Like almost always. Mm-hmm. Almost any, at least with men. I couldn't rattle this off for women, for female artists. It like almost every man, musician, filmmaker, writer, whatever that I enjoy is either divorced or at least was divorced and is now happily married for a while, but they had a divorce. Like almost every single one. And it makes you wonder if there's something about like people who are inclined to do that sort of thing, to make art or music or whatever. It makes you wonder if those kinds of people like the rate is so high, even with ones who they're not successful enough to be like getting girls coming at them. It's not like it's a cliche reason their marriage has to have failed, but they just fail so often that it makes you wonder like what is it? Like what is it about this Venn diagram?
Is it like maybe their transient lifestyle in the sense that somebody who goes and works like like HVAC for like 20 years is like a job that's like very steady and you know where they go and everything. But if you're like a movie star or even a director, you're always traveling. Sometimes you have to take your family with you because I'm not sure, but I feel like in Rachel's case, she was a stay-at-home mom because Harmony was bringing in some money. Yeah,
I think you told me that she kind of stopped acting after Spring Breakers or something like that.
Yeah, she was in a couple shows. I think she was in like Vinyl or some other like HBO or Showtime show. Like she did get work, but then eventually, stopped. I think kind of after like 2015. So right around the Beach Bum. But
which would make sense timing wise for the kids being born because the Vice doc I think is from like 2020 or something like that, and his daughter looks 7. Okay. So yeah, pour one out for Harmony.
Pour one out.
Although like David Lynch or Werner or whatever, I can't really picture him in a relationship. Like, I can't picture pillow talk with him. So I kind of feel like he's probably not going to be that affected by this divorce. I feel like he's kind of a, like, autistic alien.
I guess so, yeah. Him doing, like, sexy talk or stuff he finds... if you look at the stuff he finds interesting or something, he's like, babe, wear this Israel t-shirt. I'm going to bring a midget into the bedroom with us. Someone with Down syndrome, yeah. I do have another topic I just want to briefly bring up because there's no way to really introduce this. Do you know the band Lost Prophets?
Nope.
So there's a singer from it named Ian Watkins. They had a famous song called Rooftops in, I believe, the 2000s. It was in like Guitar Hero World Tour, I believe. Good song. The singer went to prison for doing an extremely bad crime. Extremely bad. Rape of a very young person. Okay. Younger than is okay to even like joke about, so I won't. Praise the Lord, he got murdered in prison a couple days ago. So, what's the opposite of pouring one out?
Pouring one.
Pouring one. We're going to pour up Ian Watkins, fuck you fucking I'm glad you're dead. You made one good song, and now you're burning in hell.
Instead of pouring this out, I'm going to pour it into my gullet for you. Ian Watkins?
Ian Watkins.
That's a very British-sounding name.
I don't know if he was. I don't care. Just had to bring that up because it made me happy. After I heard the divorce news, and I was like, oh, dang, that's sad. I hope the kids are okay. And I see a guy who did bad things to a kid, and he's,
Have you ever had those dreams? You ever see that stuff about people who, they get, like, pulled into an interrogation room, they don't ask to speak to their lawyer, they self-incriminate, even if they're not guilty, and now they're just in prison, for life or, for a long time. Have you ever had those stress dreams where like you get like falsely imprisoned?
I haven't had that necessarily. I have had dreams where it's like I've definitely done the crime, and I'm just like I'm scared of getting like found out.
Yeah.
So
You have dreams where you're doing the thing that got Ian in jail.
no, that's not what I said. I'm doing white
Said
collar
doing
crimes.
the crime.
I'm doing white collar crimes. I'm like insider trading.
Yeah.
I'm like overvaluing my stock prices and all that.
When I saw Training Day for the first time, have you seen it?
Yeah.
When you know that thing with the bathtub scene, and then it's like, oh, but I saved the girl.
Your daughter
Yeah.
or your sister. Yeah.
I've had like nightmares where it's like the inverse scenario, because I've had some really vivid dreams that then did sort of come true in some kind of way.
Yeah.
I told you about one of them on this podcast. And they're usually ones that involve death. And I don't have a lot of dreams where I die. But the ones that I've had where I died that stick out in my memory, more than one of them was where like I'm just kind of like going about my day, and then I'm like, oh, there's someone in need, let me help them out, and then I'm suddenly the fucking target of violence. So it makes me like, I feel like that's a warning from God of like, just keep your nose down, do the podcast. That's how you'll help the world.
God doesn't want you to help people.
If you see a girl being mugged and probably kidnapped, like in Training Day, don't get out of your car. Never relax.
That's what you take away from that. That you shouldn't help people if you see a girl being in traffic.
Yeah.
Oh, man. You're snitching on the guys who killed Ian Watkins in prison. It's like, actually, you're not supposed to do that. I saw him place the knife there.
Well, so everyone knows that like, you know, pedophiles often get like beat up and or murdered. Like the cliche is that like,
Yes.
if you're a pedophile and you're in jail, or even, what do you call it? Like,
A chomo.
what's a chomo?
Child molester.
Oh, I was thinking cholo.
Cholo.
I was thinking it was like cholo plus something else.
The cholo
if
child molester.
If you're a chomo or something adjacent, or like people who get, or like hard drive people, you know,
Yeah.
like if it's anything that involves like a child being exploited, abused, physically abused, sexually abused, it's like the cliche is like you're getting fucking killed in prison.
Oh, yeah.
But that means there are people out there who've been killed who didn't do it. But wrong place, wrong time, and they died.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing with like the death penalty is like people say, I think I'm pro death penalty when you can prove the person did it, but that's the problem with the justice system is you never really, like there are times where people are on death row for shit they didn't do, you know, so it's like, I guess like the death penalty, it's like you can't really have it be a standard thing because you can always be wrong. And the same thing with like people taking justice into their own hands, not just in prison, but just like vigilantism is like, you could be wrong. You never know.
I do get what you're saying. I'm pro death penalty for sure. Obviously not executing falsely imprisoned people. And there are cases where it's just like in the 1950s, it's like, oh, we accuse this like a 13-year-old black kid, and this jury in Mississippi is like, try him as an adult now. And it's just like, yeah, we zapped his head.
Yeah.
Like Green Mile. And it's like, well, it turns out that we found a white dude who absolutely did it like 10 years later.
His name is Emmett Till. Oh, he must be innocent. No, here's a picture of him. Never mind hanging him. Yeah.
Damn. The problem I have with a lot of people who are very anti-death penalty, and you can make like a theological case for it, like nobody should judge somebody and put them to death unless it's like God or someone. Mm-hmm. That's a case. You can also make the case of like, I don't trust the state killing people. That's a very like, you know, also libertarian case as well.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. The problem is, a lot of these like anti-death penalty activists choose people who super did it and super deserve to die. There was one lady, she was like one that got executed fairly recently, where she was like from Oklahoma or one of those states that nobody cares about, and she had a rough life. You know, she was like beaten, raped, like growing up,
Yeah.
Awful upbringing. She couldn't have kids, so she was just like, oh, I'm so fucking jealous. I'm gonna make like a group on like MySpace or like Facebook at the time where it's like, oh, pregnant moms in the area, and she like called a lady out, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm a pregnant mom as well, and killed the lady and cut the baby out of her womb.
That is not where I thought you were going with that.
So immediately it's like any bad upbringing you had is like, okay.
Yeah.
By the way, Caleb, the baby survived. I don't know how. The woman died, and then recently they just like, you know, chopped this bitch's head off or whatever they do in the death penalty now. But that's one of those things where it's like, yeah, she had a bad upbringing, but I don't want my tax dollars like going to like housing her on death row or anything like that.
The punishment should fit the crime, where it's like if you cut out the baby and kill the woman, like now you have to get inseminated
By the
and then
guard.
get your head cut. Yeah,
That's very dark.
you get a
yeah.
gangbang on you, and then once you piss on a strip and it comes up plus sign, then they kill you. Mm-hmm. What I thought you were gonna say was that she befriended a mom and then whatever, and it was it was just a fake friendship, so that when the kid gave birth,
Danny doesn't want to hear this.
Danny doesn't want to hear any more talk about pedophilia and Jews.
Be a good boy, Daniel.
Fuck, I forget what I was saying.
You thought it was like under the guise of she.
Oh, yeah. And then down the line when the mom gives birth, oh, now I kidnap your baby. And I have some kind of harebrained scheme where I'm going to get away with it or something. I did not expect it to be that I'm going to cut the baby out of you. That's fucking crazy. Danny, you're going to be... Danny, you're pro death penalty?
He is black.
You're anti-death? Yeah. Danny's saying free Larry Hoover.
Danny's like, Emmett Till ain't do shit, man. Fuck.
Larry Hoover's still in jail.
What did Larry Hoover do? What did he do?
He was given like a life. He was given like life so many times over that it was a cumulative 200 years. Because I think life is 25 or something like that, or like 35.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like a life sentence isn't life. It's just a long time. But he was given like so many sentences that it was like he's gonna die in prison. He had so much, and it looks like Donald Trump commuted his sentence, although he's still somehow behind bars. So I guess he's...
the president can only commute like federal sentences for a lot of the time.
So that's why he could get Wheezy out of jail when Lil Wayne was caught with the gun.
Yeah, yeah. Only certain ones. Other ones you have, I think, like, he just doesn't have the jurisdiction to do. And I think that was for the pardon was literally for like... during like the Revolutionary War, because like England put like a lot of people in prison or something. It's one of those things where it's like it makes sense like when the country was founded to have a presidential pardon. Now it's like really you can just like excuse your friends with no like detriment. Yeah,
I think that's kind of like I do like the idea that you have somebody or a group of people, if we didn't have a presidency, if it was more of like a parliamentary kind of system and you didn't necessarily have like a party leader, if it was more of a group effort, whatever, if you have some kind of authority that can be like, well, we actually are going to make the real decisions on who's free and who's not. I do like that idea as long as they can't do it for each other, because then obviously you just have unchecked power. But we already have that. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, allow the president to free people every now and then. It's kind of cool.
What's like with Nixon, where everybody's like, oh, we're going to get him. And then Gerald Ford is like, no.
My first act, he did it like on the plane, right? Like before he'd even landed. He was like, I pardon Richard Nixon.
Before he fell down the stairs on the plane. Yeah.
Put it in writing right now.
Yeah.
It looks like Larry Hoover, I guess maybe it's disputed. I'm now going to just sound like a dumbass because I thought I understood the situation. It looks like he was convicted of killing a drug dealer in 1973. And maybe he did it, it might have been a self-defense thing. It might have been a mutual combat. I don't know. But basically he got like 40 different charges of like basically everything in the book. And he looks, I gotta say, he looks very cool in this photo.
Oh, really?
Looks like a mean Mother Hoover.
My name's Cool Larry. I got my glasses and my beret on.
Did you watch Adolescence on Netflix? Speaking of pedophilia.
No, I didn't. I know what that is, though. And I heard a lot of people on Twitter being like, this is like an anti-white thing.
Yeah, I understand what they're saying, but I think that's overblown. In real life, there was a case that I guess the series is loosely based on where like a Muslim kid like slashed some white girl to death.
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
They race swapped it in the thing. But it's not claiming to be that story. It's just a fictional, but it is very it's very safe in terms of we know who we're going to portray as being good or bad, where in the show, the reason why he killed the girl, spoiler alert, is that he became an Andrew Tate guy. And he's like, women do not have souls, so I kill you now. Like it's silly.
Yeah, he became like a men's rights activist type guy. And it's like, I don't even think that's what... I mean, yeah, I guess it isn't like super based on that real story of like some weird like Somali kid with a big ass forehead just like killed some person.
Something. From what I understand of people who complained about it, I think it's a little bit of like just an overreaction in that regard. But... it is very funny to make that show right now about England, where the white boy is killing the innocent brown girl. It's like, I don't know if that's how it's going right now.
These white kids are going around London, Caleb, in these like rape gangs, having kids with their first cousin, making them. Yeah, it's always whitey, dude. You ever notice that?
It is. It is on Netflix. There's also there's a good. So I didn't watch the entire thing because at a certain point it just became kind of monotonous to me. It has some really good acting in it. I really don't understand the phenomenon of it. I didn't get to this part of the show, but apparently it's implied that the dad also like molested his son.
Whoa.
The dad played by Stephen Graham from The Irishman. The dude who like fights Al Pacino in prison.
Tony Pro, right?
Yeah.
Great.
Or Al Capone in Boardwalk. He's a great actor. But it's implied that he might have like been a pedophile. Maybe the show makes it clear. I just didn't watch fully, but it's just this thing of like, can we stop making the same story over and over again? where like everything that's bad in the world is a man being a man or something like that or whatever. Not that that's what this is portrayed as, because like obviously like Andrew Tate is like, you know, stupid, but like it's always the same thing. It's just predictable.
It's a safe thing to critique, because if you made like a TV show where it's like, oh, here's how easy it is for like, you know, Muslim extremism to take over somebody who's just a regular Muslim person.
Yeah.
And then because of this, they get, you've always seen those photos where it's like, here's him as an ISIS fighter, but it's him like 5 years ago as a doctor in Syria, you know, with his beard all grown out. And it's just like, well, see, that might be an interesting avenue, but if you make that show, you're going to get blown up.
Yeah.
So they're just like, all right, we're going to make this show about this weird white kid who went to the chippy and got turned down by this bird. And now we've got to cut head off.
He got turned down by this bird, and his father turned him out. So now he's got reason to kill the bird.
His father touched his willy, and now he's gay. and now he's like Andrew Tate.
It's just can we just stop, guys?
Stop making
Can we stop? Speaking of pedophilia, I texted you like a while ago. You might remember this, and I said, Nick, I realized why there's so much fucking pedophilia nowadays. And you're like, go on. And then I was like, I can't tell you. I need to save it for the podcast. Do you remember that?
A very alarming text to get, by the way, at 4 a.m. No.
So this is just a theory, and I'm working it out, and maybe it's, you know, it's not fully developed, but I haven't so far been able to find a counter argument that kind of negates it. So I think I'm onto something here.
Okay.
Nick, have you ever seen It Happened One Night?
No, I know what that movie is, but I haven't seen it.
You know the ankle scene?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's just one example of how back in that time, you know, a woman showing her ankles was like, whoa, that is pretty, it's not the equivalent of like flashing someone your boobs, but it was like probably close to, let's say, if you like the way that, if you've ever seen like a hot girl, like pull her tank top vaguely down to reveal her bra or something, or her bra line or whatever. And it's like just showing a little more cleavage than she was already showing, you know, it's like, whoa, it's a little racy, you know. I watched that scene on YouTube when we were talking about a different episode we're doing about some older Hollywood films. And this thing occurred to me, which is like, I think we talked about this before about homosexuality, of like people, when it was illegal to be gay, not illegal to do a certain act, but to be gay, you know, people were still gay, but they kept it behind closed doors, you know.
Of course.
Any rules you set, human beings are naturally going to like go and step outside of those rules. So for instance, with homosexuality, like, an argument that I see all the time on Twitter nowadays about like drag queens reading to children and all that kind of shit is always like, they always said they just wanted marriage and equal rights. Slippery and we all knew it was a slippery. Yeah. Yeah. But there is something to the argument of like, yeah, whatever you allow, things are going to progress past that, because boundaries are always going to be pushed. So when the boundary is like, hey, it's illegal to be gay, you're not going to have drag queens reading to kids, of course. People are still going to be gay, but it's going to be limited because you've put some kind of restriction. You've put some kind of cap. So even though that cap is probably going to be exceeded, it's not going to be exceeded to whatever level like it is right now of like, I guess what you'd say indecency or whatever. So take that logic and apply it to pedophilia. Here's the thing, Nick. Back in the 30s, in these times where, you know, showing an ankle was racy, the craziest thing you could do was be a philanderer. You know what I mean? The craziest thing you could do is be someone who's putting your penis. That would have been insane. You know what I mean? So naturally, people are going to go outside of what's okay and acceptable. Maybe this isn't a complete theory, but I think part of the reason, because it seems like fucking everybody's a pedophile now. It's like you cannot escape news of people having child porn or being like, or like following 12-year-olds on Twitter at Anthony Cumia. Thank you. Look into it. Thank you. You know, everybody's a fucking pedophile. And it's a thing of like, yeah, normal people aren't just going to become pedophiles because it's the last thing. But it kind of feels like being a pedophile is the last thing that's out of bounds. So like that's the only thing people have left to feel dangerous. Because think about it, like things like BDSM, like things like, I mean, homosexuality or what do you call it? Where you have like multiple people in one relationship? Polyamory, you know, other stuff. It doesn't matter. But like things that were not the norm or not socially acceptable a while ago are now socially acceptable. So what is left that's taboo? You know, it's like it's getting with someone who's underage. So people who were naturally going to be boundary pusher people who are like, I don't play within the lines or whatever, what is going to get them excited What lines do they have to cross except being a pedophile? It's all that's left for them.
I do like the idea of someone who's like, I'm being a pedophile for the cult because I'm like Banksy, but I fuck kids.
It's a conscious choice. It's like, well, what can I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have somebody. Yeah, so is that Kanye West's new grift eventually?
So, how are you making this about Kanye now? What?
Because he's a boundary pusher. He has that thing. What do you call it? It's like where you do the opposite of what somebody says.
Oppositional defiance.
Yeah. So somebody's going to say, Kanye, don't be a pedophile. And he's like, don't tell me what to do. I'm a genius. And then dick and kid.
No, he protects kids, actually. So.
With his penis?
No, he's actually a loving father and perfect. And he actually stopped a pedophile. There's a famous video of a pedophile trying to like talk to his kid or something. And he walks up and he just shakes his hand and the guy like immediately fucks off.
But this was before that was the last bastion.
This was 2019, so.
Fuck. God damn it. So that's my theory out the window, that Kanye West is a pedophile.
You're just trying to start a fight right now.
No, I think I'm right still, though. I do genuinely get what you're saying, how once everything besides, like, the worst of the worst is, like, okay, that there are going to be some people who it's like, because with like sex or like porn in general, eventually your brain wants like harder and harder stuff. So back in the day that like, you know, everybody was having like, you know, just straight missionary or something like that. And then like you see like, you know, whatever, like, you know, a dirty magazine that had like Doggy Style or something. You're like, whoa, this is the craziest it can ever get. And then now in like 2025, when people are like spitting in each other's assholes, you're just like, well, I guess I have to fuck a kid now.
Now Doggy Style's on Disney Channel. So it's like, if you're a sexual deviant, there's not much to deviate from anymore. So it's like, what do they call it?
Call who?
Like they don't say, hey, we're pedophiles, we're fucking rapists. They call it, they have like a technical term. They're like, we are like ethical child lovers or whatever.
Yeah, I forget what it is. Well, the MBL is man boy love. So that their thing is, it's not a sexual thing, it's love.
I thought of it, Nick. It's minor. This might not be an AMBLO. Minor attracted person.
MAPS. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
And you see people arguing for this, and now people are trying, like, you know, and thank God this is finally something that most people are just like, no, we are not even, you know, because you have people out there that are like, well, you know, they're like, there's something to be said for minor attractive persons who do not act on it. It's like, no, do not normalize this. Like,
yeah, there is something that you did remind me of just now, and I forget what the source is, but people can find it online if they wish to. Somebody did a study of female murder victims throughout, like, at least the 20th century. And there is a very big turn around 1960 where if they find, like, a female dead body, before 1960, it was usually just, like, you know, just murder or something, like some guy who has, like, you know, he's just like, oh, I need to kill or something. Then around the turn of the 60s, you start to see there is a lot more, like, rape and like sexual assault just involved in general with like these people where they're just like, I need to, like, you know, defile a corpse or something sexually. And you have to think that this wasn't just a thing where somebody flipped a switch and was just like, now you are raping corpses. This had to be something socially where they're just like, they think that is like, they need to do that. And I don't know exactly what it is. You could probably say like, oh, because the 60s was like a big period of like social change, a very like liberal era of, you know, this sounds like counterintuitive, but, you know, like the women's revolution, second wave feminism, I think is the 60s. Yeah,
it could be just not equal, but it could just be the opposite reaction of like, now that women are burning their bras, people who would maybe just hurt a woman are now like, I'm going to actually defile you or whatever.
Yeah, and this is also the era of like free love, like you said, bra burning and like, you know, free the nipple hippies and stuff like that, where people are, you know, now seeing like, you know, women just in like San Francisco in a park taking LSD and taking their top off, and then some crazy guy is just like, oh, this is okay now, and then just has to have it like that.
That's also the 60s are also the time where the CIA was like, well, what if we just MK Ultra people?
What if we made you literally
that was the time. I mean, it probably started before this, but that was, I mean, the Manson family, I forget what it's called. My brother told me about it. There's this book, it's kind of popular, about Manson and like MK and that clinic in the, like Rogan's talked about this. It's a pretty popular, I think it's called Control or something.
Okay.
But it makes a pretty compelling case that like Manson and other people, other suspicious weird figures who just not that Manson was a normal guy, but he was a more normal guy. And then there was a point where he was cracked, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, and they all like disappeared around the same time in the same general area and then reappeared. And it's like they were probably just MK victims because Manson never made sense again. You know, like after he was, and you know, he didn't physically perform the murders, but once he was apprehended and charged and put behind bars, he was never coherent again. And it's not like he was a babbling buffoon way before that. There was a definite, like, there's a eccentric guy who might be open to this control, and now he's crazy. So, you know, those are just the ones we know about. There's who knows how many of these like psycho people are failed experiments. I mean, I like to believe it's a lot of them because for some reason it's weirdly comforting to me to think of this like all this like crazy evil shit happening behind locked doors. Like being a conspiracy theorist is actually kind of weirdly like
it's a comfortable thought, but probably in error that you think that there's one entity in the world that's controlling all the evil and making everybody evil, when in reality it's probably just innate in every human being.
Yeah.
That everybody has a certain like threshold of like how many bad days they can have, or there's a certain part of their brain where once you activate it, if you're doing like MK Ultra testing or, you know, something else, just mental illness, that somebody can snap like that. It is really easy to be like, oh, there is a boogeyman that is causing all the problems and it's the CIA.
Yeah.
Instead of just, yeah.
Because it's not the CIA. It's the CIA and Mossad.
So there's two boogeymen. Caleb, do you follow Filipino cinema?
No, I don't think I've ever seen a Filipino movie. And honestly, Nick, the thought never crossed my mind they even made movies.
They still have black and white cameras, yeah. No, they're
and crank camera.
There's a Filipino director that has a movie coming out called Magellan. It's their selection for Best International Feature at the upcoming Oscars. The director is Lav Diaz, I'm not sure. Their names are notoriously weird over there. He was giving a talk at, I believe, the New York Film Festival, and he cast the guy who plays Magellan as an actual Spaniard. And I believe Magellan was a Portuguese, I think, technically, but... You know, the Philippines has a very, like, tumultuous history with, like, you know, the Spanish Empire and, like, you know, exploiting everybody. That's why a lot of, like, you know, Tagalog sounds like Spanish in some sense.
And they have a lot of Spanish last names.
Exactly.
Everyone's named Hernandez.
Yeah, it's that joke. It's like, hello, I'm a Filipino. My name is Ching Chong Rodriguez. But... Anyway, he's talking on stage to a presenter. He's speaking in Tagalog, and he has an interpreter on his side. And they ask, how did you get the idea to cast this Spanish actor as Magellan? Like, where'd the idea come from, you know? And he answers in Tagalog, and the interpreter's like, what are you saying? And it turns out he says, oh, well, me and the other producers were having sex. We thought of the idea for casting this guy because, you know, he's a really good actor. We saw him in this thing. And the interpreter's like, what? And he's like, can you clarify what you're saying? It's like, oh, yeah. Me, the producer, and this guy, we were having sex together in Barcelona. And everybody on stage is like, what the fuck is he talking about? He's not joking. And he's just like, yeah, you know, I had a really good idea. I think he was great for the role. We're all just buggering each other. And I will say this. One of the most famous Filipino directors, Lino Braca, I believe. He did Manila and the Claws of Light and Insiong, which are the two most famous ones he's did. Not a lot of people in the United States or really Europe, you know, follow that kind of work. But in the Philippines, he's pretty famous. He was, in the 70s, like, out and proud. Like, he was just, like, gay. And it's very weird because the Philippines is, like, the most Catholic country in the world. They are like you cannot get a divorce in the Philippines unless for like a couple reasons. One of them is if you find out your husband's gay.
Fuck.
And the other is if he gives you an STD. Otherwise, you cannot get a divorce under any circumstances.
That's really funny.
It's really funny. So it's really, yeah.
So if you're a or if you're a
even cheating is one of those things where it's like, no, you have to work it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're Catholic. They don't believe in a divorce. And it's really funny that one of their most famous directors, and now apparently too, because he is pretty well liked. He's like I think his mark is like slow cinema, you know, kind of like vibes and stuff. But it's really funny that for a country that's so Catholic, they have like so many like gay artists, and it's kind of tolerated. In a lot of countries that do have like people who are gay, they really are just like, no, we're not gonna show your films or anything. Yeah. But here they're just like, yeah, Diaz, woo, fuck that dude.
Interesting.
Yeah, so doesn't really relate to anything, but I think it's just really funny that He was just at a film festival. Was like, yeah, I was blowing this dude, and
The Story of Magellan, as told by some Filipino.
it's getting good reviews.
Maybe it'll be at the Oscars. Who knows? Maybe it'll be this year's. What was that one last year that won? The movie, the Brazilian movie?
I'm Still Here.
Yeah.
That was a good movie.
Maybe it'll be the I'm Still Here of this year.
Oh, man. If he gets up on stage and he's like, yeah, before I got this award, I was getting fucked in the ass by Jimmy Kimmel backstage.
You texted me something on Twitter of casting decisions for a remake of The Age of Innocence. Or not a remake, but just another adaptation.
Yes, I
Which
forgot.
is like one of your favorite Scorsese films.
I think Age of Innocence is a top 5 Scorsese.
And you're one of the few.
It's a very good movie. I think you would like it.
I've never seen. Yeah, I'm not shitting on it. Just there's almost. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that before. You know, like almost everyone will pick of. There's the classics, and then there's the ones that maybe like there's things like After Hours, where like there's a decent number of people that might put that in the top 5. I don't think I've ever heard anyone praise that movie the way that you have.
Age of Innocence is a very good period drama. That it's kind of interesting that Scorsese did something like that. And it did get its flowers back in the day, but I feel like not a lot of people really talk about it. But I did see that they are doing, I think, like a limited series with these casting decisions. And I was like, what? We don't need another like Edith Wharton adaptation.
Yeah, you sent me a picture of the 3 leads, which I know that in the original movie, it's Daniel Day-Lewis, Sharon Stone. No, wait, who is it? Michelle Pfeiffer?
Michelle Pfeiffer and Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sent me that thing, and then it showed those 3 actors, and then like the person who's playing that character in this new adaptation, and it's just 3 people I didn't recognize. But you sent that, and you were just like, no.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wanting to ask you, is the no like, oh, these actors suck, or is it just simply you're not gonna be able to capture the magic of Scorsese's version?
The latter, I think. I don't really. The actors, from what I can remember, are kind of nobodies. I mean, they've been in something that like I just haven't seen probably, but The Age of Innocence. In terms of casting, it's pretty perfect, honestly. Daniel Day-Lewis is doing a fantastic job. Michelle Pfeiffer plays this lady, Countess Olenska, who's kind of like, she really just hates the very restrictive culture. And not saying that somebody can't do it as well as her, but the way that she plays that character and like all the facial acting that everybody does, including Winona Ryder, like not a lot of people give her credit for her role in that. Because she's technically
a bad actress.
Wrong. She's also really hot, and you're gay for saying that.
Wrong.
But she's, I think, technically supporting. It's kind of hard to explain without.
She was nominated for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress.
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay. I guess. Yeah. So. I guess if Michelle Pfeiffer has to be the lead, then because that makes sense. But yeah, I really it's kind of like. It's like remaking Citizen Kane or something in my eyes.
Wow. To
the point where it's like they already did it perfect.
What makes it so special to? Because I literally know nothing about the story, the movie at all. I know it's based on a book by Edith Wharton.
Yeah.
I know that it stars those 3 actors and directed by Scorsese. That's the end of my knowledge. What makes it so good to you?
I think the cinematography is amazingly beautiful. Probably one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen.
Wow. I'm
not really into period dramas. It's kind of like the La La Land thing where it's like I don't really like musicals, but that really hit for me. The story is both interesting, heartbreaking, makes you animated where you're just like, oh, I don't. It's kind of like a thriller at certain points, but it doesn't like fall too much into like being like a genre movie or something. It's a little hard to explain without going into spoilers. But okay. I think the story, and it does follow the book pretty tightly. I haven't read it, but from what I've heard, it does. The story is like really tight. I don't think you could take out like a single scene to make it better. It's probably his most underrated movie, even though it did win a bunch of awards and made money, and got a Criterion release, which I bought immediately.
I'm interested in it, and I own it. It's one of the only Scorsese movies I haven't seen. I own a copy of it that I got used, and it just sits on my shelf, and I look at it every now and then and go, You know, not necessarily at that. It's just the thing of it. I never stop and go, I should pull this off because I've always had this feeling like it's going to be, I don't know, like Silence kind of. Like Kundun gets compared to Silence a lot.
Yeah.
And I've never seen Kundun either. It's one of the other only ones I haven't. And I really didn't like Silence. I just thought it was really dull. And I've always had this fear that Kundun, Age of Innocence, and Last Temptation of Christ are going to be droll, boring, and make me hate Scorsese.
Well, I've seen all of those, so let me give you the rundown. Age of Innocence is Kino. It's not going to be like Silence at all. It definitely has. It's not like as introspective as Silence was, and slow. It definitely does keep like a pace. And I mean, it's not like an action movie, so you're not going to see people like fist fighting or anything.
I don't care about action, so that's great.
Yeah, it's more like repressed emotion, but done in a way that anybody can really watch it and be like, "Whoa, this is intense." Kundun, I've seen Kundun. I think you can just watch it on YouTube now, but it's really one of those things that when you're done watching, you're just like, "Oh, okay, I just finished that movie." It's not so much in one ear out the other. It's more like I didn't really gain any new knowledge besides the Chinese like committed genocide against the Tibetan people.
Yeah.
And Disney apologized to China for Marty's transgressions.
Yeah.
So that's why you should watch it, at least. Last Temptation is fucking terrible. It's amazing that they cast Harvey Keitel as Judas. And he's like, "Oh, you think you're the son of God?" It's like...
He's doing his New York thing. I've
Yes.
started it. I've started it like 5 times, and I've just never been able to. It's the same with Gangs of New York. Like, I can't. I've never watched Gangs of New York start to finish. I've seen almost the entire film at this point, but I've never made it to the absolute very end because it's just, But Last Temptation, I've never even gotten probably 15 minutes in because that scene with Defoe and then Harvey Keitel comes in. He's like, so who the fuck you think you are, Jesus? He's just like, and it's like, what? Like he's not doing a voice.
No.
Not that you need to do some kind of like weird Middle Eastern thing, but just speak kind of normal, I guess. Speak with your, or I guess that is his accent, but it was just so jarring seeing Judas speak like some Itai from New York.
Yeah, speaking some standard American accent, just like Willem Dafoe is just like, "I don't know if all these people should be following me." Like he just has his normal voice, but then Harvey Keitel acts like he's in a pizzeria.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. And a lot of the acting I don't have problems with. It's mostly just like the story isn't super engaging because this isn't like a retelling of the Bible. There's a book called The Last Temptation of Christ, which is this is based on, and it was controversial. I think Marty got like death threats for it. Yeah. Because, I mean, the whole reason why it's controversial is it kind of portrays Jesus as a guy who's like, "I don't know if I am like the Son of God." Like, basically, people are kind of, in this story, like hyping him up. It's like, "Oh, you were of the virgin birth and all this stuff." It's like, you're going to do great things. And it's that thing of like, he's coming to terms with having these great expectations put on him. And I believe in the book, it was kind of like the author was like a self-insert. Like it was kind of like a Salman Rushdie, like not satanic. I guess it's not as, like satanic verses, but it's not meant to be like, "Oh, I'm writing the new Bible," or "This is what Jesus thought." It's like, this is me as Jesus as a self-insert in some sense. Yeah. And I mean, the movie's just not really engaging, honestly. It's like, I'm not going to take offense to a guy taking liberties like that, but yeah, it's honestly, if you've read the Bible, you don't need to see this. It's whatever.
I think what I've heard many times is that people who criticize it were people who didn't watch it because what they heard was, this is a movie that depicts Jesus having sex and taking himself off the cross. And if you just imagine like, hey, there's a new Hollywood movie, how they love to defile our religion, and it depicts Jesus,
Yeah,
it's like, well, but if it's done tastefully and for a point, then
what they do with that, and it's not like graphic sex or something. It's implied that he did.
Okay.
Because I mean, do people care about spoilers for this?
I don't care, and I'm doubting literally anyone who listens to this podcast is going to give a shit about The Last Temptation of Christ. But spoiler alert for the next, I don't know, 60 seconds.
Sure, let's do a minute. So basically, at the end, Jesus is getting crucified by the Jews, not the Romans, and he gets like kind of tempted where it's like, all you have to do is just say that you're not the Son of God, and you can go and you can live a peaceful life with like a wife and children. And he gets off the cross and he walks out, and everybody's just kind of looking at him, and he lives and he has like a life with like a wife and children, and then he like passes away peacefully. But as he's passing away peacefully, he's just like, this is not the life I want. I actually need to sacrifice myself for the people. So it's really in his head that he does that, and then he does end up sacrificing himself for mankind and their sins.
Yeah, okay, so that's exactly why people think that. Okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense. People who criticize it didn't see it.
Yeah, so people who didn't see it are just like, this is just one for one, this is what happens. And you see it and you're like, no, not really. He's taking liberties, and he is making a point that Jesus saw all this stuff and still decided to sacrifice himself for us. So
okay.
There you go. As someone who has seen it and understands that, I still didn't like it.
Because it was clunky.
Clunky. It's really also not saying a lot that's like interesting too. And so it's not worth watching.
Yeah, I'm never gonna be able to. I've never started Age of Innocence, so it's not like I have a reason necessarily to think it's gonna suck. It's probably the last good one that I haven't seen because I haven't watched those three or New York, New York.
Oh, that one is like historically bad.
Yeah, like I'm never gonna touch that. So it's like, but I've seen everything else, literally everything else, and it's pretty much all really, really, really good, or at least good. But Last Temptation, fuck it, I can't even. I'll watch Kundun, and then I'll save Age of Innocence for after Kundun, so I can end with a hurrah.
We might actually do an episode on that then.
Oh yeah,
if I want you to watch that bad enough.
Okay, we'll do a segment of ultraviolence for Age of Innocence and Last Temptation of Christ.
I won't make you watch Last Temptation. It's just boring. So your top 3 for Marty is 1, Boxcar Bertha.
2, who's not knocking on my door?
3, Hugo.
I love Hugo.
You actually do?
Hugo's really good.
Everyone that I talked to has said Hugo is just kind of whatever. I haven't seen that's one of the last ones I haven't seen yet, besides the 2 that you just mentioned. And it's like, yeah, I'll get to it when I get to it, but I really feel like it's not going to be like transcendental.
No, but it's absolutely perfect for what it is, which is that it's an adventure movie for kids, and it's done flawlessly in my opinion. I think it's talk about gorgeous looking movies. Robert Richardson, the guy he shoots all of Tarantino's movies now, and he's worked with Scorsese on The Aviator. He won an Oscar for The Aviator, and he shot Shutter Island. He won a second Oscar for Hugo. He's actually won 3, but one of them was for a different movie, JFK with Oliver Stone. But he won his 3rd and final cinematography Oscar for Hugo. It's a gorgeous looking movie with really great child performances from I can't remember his name, but that kid who's in that Netflix show that looks terrible where they recreated 1917.
You're going to have to be more specific about a Netflix show that looks terrible.
Asia Argento. Asia something.
Oh, Asia's Son?
No. He's a white boy. He's a white British boy. Something. Whatever. Yeah. It doesn't matter. But him and the girl who says they're going to eat my cunt on a plate from Suspiria, Chloe Grace Moretz.
That's right. She's in that.
And she says that. The
in Hugo? Whoa.
Yes.
Yeah. I need to see this.
They're both amazing in it. Ben Kingsley's really good in it. It has a really wonderful reveal about 2/3 of the way through that is, I don't want to say too much about it. And when you watch it, you might be like, wait, is this what they're doing? And then you're going to realize it has a really wonderful, like meta thing in it that is not in the advertising, that is just so perfect. And it's related to like movies and movie love and everything. And it's awesome. And
okay.
I would say it is a really good time, even alone at home. If you're in like a generally chipper mood, like, winter's approaching, if it's, you got nothing going on and you got a fire and some pajamas, put on Hugo, you'll have a really good time. It's an entertaining movie. Sacha Baron Cohen is in it. He's like the villain, and it's funny and light and lighthearted, and it's not up to snuff with most of Scorsese's movies in terms of like being, fucking powerful, but it's honestly flawless in my opinion.
Okay.
I love Hugo, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
But you hate The Deer Hunter.
Yes. Talk about movies that are overrated. My God. I mean, everything that people talk about in The Deer Hunter, if somebody is to mention something, like you say, hey, have you guys seen The Deer Hunter? And some guy in your family's like, oh, that scene where they do Russian roulette? Name one other scene that isn't Russian roulette in that movie that people remember. I remember it because I've seen it recently. But it's one of those things that, and it was written around that scene. Some guy had like a short film planned. I forget what the entire context of it. But the script was really just the scene where the Viet Cong is making them play Russian roulette. And then they're just like, well, this is like 30 minutes of the movie. We have to do other stuff. So they basically wrote a really stupid like marriage plot in the beginning. And then at the end, like, kind of like PTSD ridden like third act that really doesn't come together and is just kind of stupid. And people are just like, oh, you're supposed to think it's like one of the greatest like films of the, was it 70s, I think?
78, yeah.
Yeah, John Cazale. Cazale?
John Cazale's in it.
Yeah, that's like one of the 5 movies he did before he died. And I mean, his track record is fantastic, and I think he's good in this, but it really is just centered around like 30 good minutes and then an hour of like, okay.
Yeah, I was thinking, besides the 2 Russian roulette, I mean, there's the major one in the middle, and then there's the one at the end.
Yeah.
Besides the Russian roulette scenes, there's no other scene that I think the average person will have heard of. Like, that is the thing, but I don't know if that's a fair way to criticize a movie, because that's true of a lot of movies where they might be good throughout or whatever, but there's like the scene that everyone knows, you know, like in Oppenheimer, like the scene where he's giving the speech to the people in the gym and the camera's like shaking, the background's shaking behind him. Like that's like the scene, or maybe there's another that or the montage with the music, you know, but it doesn't mean that like everything else in it's crap per se. With Deer Hunter, yeah, that is the most iconic moment, and yeah, you can tell that like that is where like the inspiration came. But I mean, there's other stuff in it that sticks out to me, like when De Niro's holding the bullet, and he says, "What do you think this is? This is this." Like when he can't really express in words the anger he has about how cavalier John Cazale is with the gun. You know,
is that the beginning or the end?
It's near the end. It's after Vietnam when he threatens to. He's like pointing the gun. He's like, "If you make fun of me again," and De Niro like flips out on him. He's like, "Do you realize what that means?" He's like, "It's like a lost highway." He's like, "You know how fucking many car lengths it takes to stop a car at 35 miles an hour?"
Yeah.
And he starts like losing his mind on him because you know the fucking 1 in 6 chance that gun is going to go off, and then he spins the thing and clicks it, and it doesn't. You know, like that moment lives on in my memory, and others too, but. I think it's more than just one good scene, personally.
I mean, I think it's one good act, is what I'm saying. And then around it, it's just bookended by stuff that really is just... They really said, it's like, we just need stuff to put the Russian roulette scene in context, because we need, like, a movie at least 90 minutes.
If you were doing that, wouldn't you just make a movie in Vietnam, though? I
mean, that's what I would want them to do. I would want... I mean... First of all, the ending of the movie is also so fucking cheesy that I roll my eyes at it.
The part in Saigon or the literal ending?
The literal ending where they're sitting and him and Meryl Streep are singing. Is it the national anthem or like America the Beautiful?
I think it's not the national anthem. It might be America the Beautiful.
Yeah, it's just basically they're sitting there and they're like sitting sad and they just start singing a very patriotic song. I'm like, okay, I get it. This is an anti-war movie. Okay. It's one of those things where it's like, you can make like an anti-war movie and show the effects of PTSD on like soldiers and why like we just shouldn't do that and like, you know, the military industrial complex without making something so cheesy and based around something that looks actually kind of cool.
Can I ask, why is it bad that they're singing that?
Just because it's cheesy and it's not something regular humans would do in that scene.
But, well, it's after the military funeral of their friend, and it's just like no one's talking, so someone sings and they all sing, and they're not having fun with it. They're just kind of like, this is a thing to do, and then they stop singing and they just keep eating, and it just holds on them. Like,
because that's not how humans act. That's not how humans act in that context. People just don't break out into song like it's a musical.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, but I agree. These characters don't just break out in a song. One person's humming and then someone else hums along and then they're all like, okay, we're doing this now. So they just kind of sing for each other's benefit for like 30 seconds.
I mean, that is exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, that's not something that people do. That is a very like Hollywood moment where it's like, okay, well
okay.
Yeah. It's so cheesy that it kind of like puts like it puts a shit-filled bow on a present that's only like halfway good at the most.
I have very different feelings about The Deer Hunter. I think most of it works really well. I think it is badly paced because it's very deliberate, and the overall emotional impact of the movie I think works really well because you have all of this time, because it's very much, it's kind of novelesque of like the first like hour of the movie, it's 3 hours long. The first like roughly hour of the movie is life before Vietnam. You know, they're enlisting, they're going to go.
The marriage.
It's this long wedding.
Yeah.
And then a last hurrah trip to go hunt deer in the woods. And, you know, but it's not just the wedding. It's also getting ready for the wedding and De Niro going over to the house and him and Christopher Walken. You know, they both like Meryl Streep's character. And it's kind of subtle and it's not, you know, it's not played up. It's kind of, I thought that was very realistic, the way that they're kind of friends. It's that thing where you're in a small town and everyone's kind of friends, and it's like, well, you know, the suitors, there's not that many. So it's kind of like, well, we're kind of like we're friends, but we're also maybe looking to get together, but maybe not, you know. When it does then jump to Vietnam and it's like, okay, we're in Vietnam, we're in a battle, we're losing the battle immediately. Okay, now we're prisoners. It is like very like, what the fuck? But I don't mind that because the movie is consistent in that way where then once they're freed, it's very like, what the fuck when you're back home. And you've spent so much time in their hometown that then when he's back, it feels different to me.
Let me clarify. I do understand what they are trying to say in the first and third act, and basically all the parts that are outside of Vietnam. I understand what is going on. I just find it incredibly boring, and it doesn't.
That's fair.
It's that thing of just like, basically, if the tension in my interest in the deer hunter is measured on a scale from 0 to 10, the beginning of all the stuff like hunting deer and the wedding and all that stuff is 3, 4. It's like I honestly can't really care. And then when they're in Vietnam, all the time they're in Vietnam, I'm just like, okay, this is 8, 9, 10 or something. And they get back and it's just all the way down. So it has really bad pacing, and I feel like people are kind of they hype up that movie too much because The Godfather is consistently good. If we're talking about movies that should be praised, that movie is tight and has tons of good scenes, great scenes in the beginning, middle, and end. But The Deer Hunter is boring, second act. Oh, amazing, this is cool, this is a really interesting scene, and then back to boring. It really is just one peak that everybody's blowing out of proportion, I think. And, I'll make this argument. 2001 has good moments sprinkled throughout, but I also think that's overhyped. I think this is overhyped for a different reason, that it's just completely uneven, but people for some reason look past it, because I guess maybe John Cazale did 5 movies and then fucking died, and it's got De Niro and Meryl Streep in it.
I think there's more to it than that. I think that if you were alive in that time, it's obviously more meaningful because it was timely.
With Vietnam, sure, yeah.
But I didn't live through that time. I got more out of it, not because of any of the frivolous details of Cazale and the actors who were in it, but I agree. I think it's badly paced, but it is paced. I think that it doesn't really build momentum, because the thing is, it kind of it doesn't really build suspense in that first third, but you are waiting for the shoe to drop. So you kind of you have this kind of this pent up thing of there's going to be conflict. So it doesn't really allow you to actually enjoy the time the way that they are. But that's also kind of how they're feeling, because it's a joyous occasion, but De Niro's character especially, and Christopher Walken, while they're having a good time, it's so much more comfortable for them to go to the bar away from everybody else in the back or whatever, and it's just kind of the time is a little sour, which is how you're feeling, because by that point in the movie, you're just okay, come on. Mm-hmm. And then in the last third, when they're back from Vietnam and, Walken never made it back, and one of the friends is in a wheelchair, and it's just it's everyone's just kind of fucked up from it. It doesn't do the thing that you're at least I think, that you're expecting war movies to do, where you're going to have a bunch of time of, you're going to have a scene in therapy, and you're going to have I'm trying to chop vegetables and then I start crying for no reason. It's De Niro goes home and he's then he goes to a hotel, and then he goes bowling with some of his friends, and he's fuck this. And it's just, it's not entertainment, capital E entertainment, but it is, I think, a very realistic depiction of how that alienation must feel being back from the war. I think it's done better in other movies, I don't think The Deer Hunter is the best thing ever. I think The Hurt Locker, at the end of The Hurt Locker when he's back, and it's just jump cut from he's in the Humvee. Next shot, he's in Walmart looking at cornflakes.
He just realized,
whoa.
Yeah.
And it's, it gives you 3 scenes back at home, but each one of them is just you get it and it's out. Deer Hunter, it's not trying to do that. It's trying to, it's this long, it's trying to give you the feeling. It's not necessarily trying to entertain you with the story. It's trying to sort of just let the story kind of just play out, and you're kind of a passive observer. But I think there is merit to it. It's kind of like a religious experience where church is really fucking boring, but then if you're sitting through it and you allow yourself to be open to it, maybe they say to hear God's voice, you have to go out in the middle of nowhere and not do anything, and that's kind of Deer Hunter to me. It's the equivalent of going out in the woods and not doing anything.
I think mainly the problem, because I don't really have a problem with what they are saying in the first and third act of this movie. It's just the rate at which they're saying it. You and I both agree the pacing is not great.
Yeah.
it's just very funny to like have your movie basically be the equivalent of just like a sugar crash, where you're just like, all right, getting into
Yeah.
it, and you're just like, oh, cool, this is awesome, Vietnam rule, not Vietnam rules, but you're just like, oh, I'm so engrossed in this movie right now. This is so intense. I've never seen anything like this. And then you go back to something that I don't feel is like saying in the first and third act. I don't think it's saying anything really profound. And this may be a symptom of I've seen movies deal with this better later on that were maybe inspired by The Deer Hunter. I don't know. But what they're saying to me doesn't feel so profound that I'm just like, oh, the slow pacing is actually helping. It feels mundane and uninteresting to me. So that's my qualm with it. It may hit for other people, and I know I'm in the minority by saying that I don't like The Deer Hunter. I think it's mid. I wouldn't say that I even go to like it, but I like the middle third, which I believe is like pretty like unanimous,
Oh, I mean, yeah, that sequence alone, the Russian roulette sequence in the movie, and then when it's over with and what happens and how they go down the river, that whole thing, that's like some of the most on the edge of your seat filmmaking ever.
I agree.
And I think that actually works to the movie's advantage. Like, I remember being a kid and not liking something my parents be like, but when you're older, and I'm like, stop condescending to me like I'm too young to understand like stillness or whatever, or a movie that makes you think and sit with it or whatever. But there is truth to like, you go back to something when you're a little older and you see it through different eyes. And I've seen The Deer Hunter a few times, and each time I kind of get the same thing out of it, which maybe is an argument for it not being that deep, because, you don't really see more in it with time. You just kind of get that same experience of like, oh yeah, I've never seen a movie that goes from ambient nitrous oxide to Ambien like that.
Yeah.
But most people don't want to watch Ambien. And for the record, 2001 is worse. It's really fucking boring. I hate it.
I'll have to think about that. I don't disagree with you. How long is a Deer Hunter? You said 3 hours. Is it really 3 hours?
Deer Hunter, it's something like that, or like 250. It's pretty long, dude.
I thought in my brain, I thought it was like a 2 hour, 90-minute movie.
2 hour, 90 minutes?
2 hour or 90 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Like somewhere in that range.
That means it worked for you. You didn't feel how long it was.
Well, I don't know if I felt that in the moment, but in my brain, I was just thinking, let's see, Deer Hunter.
You liked it.
78. Oh, Michael Cimino. I forget I did this.
This is one.
It is 3 hours, yeah. 184 minutes. I don't remember that. Maybe that's why it felt just like so like terribly long to me. If 2 hours of it I didn't like. You
know that it came out the same year as Coming Home?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which is like the exact opposite, because Coming Home is like, it's Hal Ashby. It's like 100 minutes, get in, get out, Vietnam vet, and it's all feelings. And it's the exact antithesis of The Deer Hunter. Like, The Deer Hunter is so cold and sterile and distant, and Coming Home is so emotional and warm and, human.
I know I'm in the minority, but yeah, Deer Hunter is just kind of a big diarrhea dick shit for me, to put it politely.
A diarrhea dick shit. You'd love Heaven's Gate.
Oh, yeah. Isn't it the one that basically, like, Hollywood was like, you can't make a movie no more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
After The Deer Hunter, he got a blank check. They're like, whoa, you just made one of the best movies of all time, because it's the 70s and Vietnam is big, so Deer Hunter is great.
Yeah.
It like swept the Oscars. He won the Oscar for Best Director. And it's like, what do you want to do next? And he's like, what if I made the most boring film of all time? And it starred Chris Christopherson.
Oh, yeah. Okay, first of all, yeah, the side tangent. Chris Christopherson, it's really funny that he's the one guy of the Highwaymen who, like, actually made a career acting in some sense, when Willie Nelson is a way better actor than Chris Christopherson. And I know that sounds insane to say if nobody knows their acting credits. Willie Nelson is endlessly more charming. He was great in Thief with James Caan.
I always forget he's in that.
Yes, he's great in that. He's great in a movie called Barbarossa, which we might do an episode on. He's endlessly charming. He's fun to watch on screen. He can deliver his lines. He's like somebody's like lovable grandpa. Chris Christopherson is like delivering his lines like somebody's like punching him in the back.
He's terrible.
Yes.
You've seen Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore.
Yes.
And have you seen Stars Born?
No, I have not, because I'm like, why would I watch this?
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's also not a great singer, too. He sings in, like, a very just, like, stilted way that I don't like. He sings like William Shatner, if you've ever seen him sing.
You know what it is? It's because he's pretty. It's because he's the prettier boy than Willie Nelson.
He's a fucking Rhodes Scholar, too. Do you know that?
No, I didn't.
He's very intelligent and, like, well-read and went to college and everything. But, yeah, I mean, talk about people who are overrated. I think he is. Rest in peace, Chris Christopherson. But, yeah.
Tell me that he's a Rhodes Scholar again.
Yeah, he's a Rhodes Scholar.
Well, doesn't fucking show. Eat shit, Chris. Boom, roasted.
Wow, good comeback, Caleb. Thank you.
It took me 10 minutes to think of that joke.
What are you, some kind of Rhodes Scholar? You fucking you fucking bitch.
Oh, Rhodes Scholar? More like eat shit. Yeah.
More like dick sniffer. You fucking bitch. Yeah, I got him. We deserve all that money we're getting for this. All $5 of it.
Patreon.com/YourOlderBrothers. You should sign up. It's $5 a month. You get 4 extra episodes a month. Extra episode every Monday. That's at least 4 a month, by the way. There's some months where there's 5 Mondays.
You get 5 episodes.
You're getting an extra episode every Monday in addition to free ones like the one you just heard. You can find us on... I don't know why I said that so aggressively. We are on Instagram and TikTok at Your Older Brothers Podcast. We are on Elon Musk's X, formerly known as Twitter, at Your Older Brothers. Your is spelled U-R, Older Brothers.
If you'd like to share your thoughts on the deer hunter or any of the topics that we talked about today, and if you're a gay Filipino...
or a NAMBLA member.
Or a NAMBLA... email us at yourolderbrothers@gmail.com.
Mao!
Didi Mao! Didi Mao!
Mao!